Hi, my name is Sarah Marsh. I'm one of the dietitians here at Trinity Regional Medical Center's Diabetes Center. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic, carbohydrate counting. Carb counting is the phrase that we use for people to diabetes meal plan. You'll often hear people refer to the phrase carbohydrate counting. Whether you have diabetes or not, this is a healthy meal plan. What I'm going to teach you today is good for anybody to use, whether you have diabetes or not. The first thing that we need to be on the same page about is what are the three nutrients that make up all food? Take a second right now and think, what are the three nutrients that make up all food? One of them is carbohydrate, another protein, and the last is fat. Maybe you got all three of those. Those are the three nutrients that give us the calories that we need to live. If you eat too many calories, of course you're going to gain weight. If you eat too few calories, of course you'll lose weight. Those three nutrients, again, provide us all of the calories that we need to survive. Now, only one of those three nutrients can raise our blood sugars. Do you know which one that is? Carbs. Carbohydrates are responsible for raising our blood sugars, especially if our pancreas is not making enough insulin. So if you know that your blood sugars are elevated, one of the first things that you can do is monitor the amount of carbohydrates that you eat. Let's talk about the foods that have carbohydrates in them. Some of the foods that have carbohydrates are in the grains group, like breads, cereals, rice, pasta, starchy vegetables, like corn, peas, potatoes, baked beans. Milk is another food group that has carbohydrates. Again, all of these foods that I'm listing have carbs in them, which could raise your blood sugar if you have too many of them at one time and you have a pancreas that isn't making insulin. So again, let's continue. The milk group, milk and yogurt. Fruits. People always say, well, fruits are good for you. They are good for you, but they also have sugar in them. Bananas, peaches, pears, apples, fruit juice. Combination foods, casseroles, macaroni and cheese, pizza, tacos, soup. And finally, sweets and snacks, chips, brownies, puddings. All of those foods have carbohydrates in them. Again, they all have the ability to raise your blood sugars. It's important to eat carbohydrate foods at each meal every day because they give you energy. They're very, very important to give you energy. But if you eat too many of them and your pancreas isn't working, you could get a high blood sugar. Now let's talk about those two remaining nutrients that we haven't mentioned yet, the fats and the proteins. And let me tell you that those, although they can provide you with calories and fat, which can make you gain weight, they would not raise your blood sugars. So you do not have to carb count them. Some examples of fats are things like butter, margarine, oil, salad dressing, and nuts. And some examples of proteins are things like chicken, beef, turkey, eggs, cheese, and cottage cheese. Again, these proteins and fats do not raise your blood sugars, so you would not need to count them as carbohydrates. One last remaining group that wouldn't count as carbohydrates are the non-starchy vegetables. These are foods like carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, celery, tomatoes, any of those non-starchy vegetables. Now that you understand what is a carbohydrate food and what is not a carbohydrate food, the next step would be to understand how much carbohydrate equals one carb choice. Here at the Diabetes Center, we can help you to understand how much food equals one choice. I'll give you one example. 1/2 cup of mashed potatoes equals one carb choice. 8 ounces of milk equals one carb choice. Here at the Diabetes Center, after we get to know you and we evaluate your height, your weight, your age, your gender, we can give you an individualized meal plan that tells you how many carb choices to eat at each meal. Most people would need about 2 to 4 carb choices at each meal, but that's what we can help you out with here at Trinity Regional Medical Center's Diabetes Center. Call our secretary Pam to make an appointment at 574-6350. Thank you.